All right, folks, good morning. All right, so let's, of course, go over what happened yesterday. And right on the screen, we've got our best performer of yesterday, which was Summit Therapeutics, symbol is SMMT, excuse me. This was one of the stocks that was identified early, uh, very early in the session. I'm trying to remember if it was, yeah, we did actually see some pre-market for that. So that one was identified before the market opened. And as you can see, it did very, very well. Um, Now, this one, a lot of you in the room didn't pursue it as long as you should have. You were in and out. Some of you were in and out a few times, which is fine, but a lot of you really didn't keep on this one, as I recommended that you keep a very close watch on this all day. The reason why I was so adamant about keeping an eye on the stock was because of the volume. Yesterday, just to put this in perspective for those of you who haven't or didn't look at this stock, yesterday it traded more volume than traded more volume than it had traded probably in the entire year. Uh, just to put that in perspective. So, I mean, this is very impressive volume that we're talking about here. Very, very impressive volume. So, in short, this stock, um, in my opinion, was the best opportunity from yesterday, right? So you can't really argue with that. That's how good it was, right? So with that in mind, I would say, hopefully some of you were able to follow the stock more than what I saw, but a lot of you didn't really stay on this one, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? So the volume was extremely high. Anytime I see that, it's reason for me to expect that a stock might move very substantially, and this one, of course, did. So it was one of the best opportunities. I do believe it was the single best opportunity from yesterday, right? Now, that being said, let's look over what happened. So first, it gapped higher, right? So it was moving up overnight. It had been trading around 80 cents a share at the close of the 5th, Monday. Gaps higher, moves up, moves down. This move right here was when I first point out that looks like it's taking off, looks like it's coming back. Didn't really have much of a recommendation at the very beginning of that move, but definitely something I mentioned to keep an eye on. Then it failed, right? It went up for a while, then it completely dumped right after that, went flat for another while, and then jumped. And from that point, it was pretty clear that this was trying to move up, and then it moved up some more, and then it really moved up after that, and so on. By the way, these arrows are not representing entry points or exit points that are recommended. These disappeared for another reason, which those of you in the coaching room, you know why they were there. But anyway, so after that second wave move, it didn't do much for a while, went up, and finally start the grand move, which was right here, really start to go up again. Then it got on a serious trend and never looked back. So by the time we got to the end of the day, stock had closed at 234. There were, after this point, there's 1, 2, and this one, a more aggressive 3 potential entry points. This is the one that I would say, of course, the first move up. After this move here, the first pullback there was the best chance to get in after the momentum had started. This would have been the second best, not the most ideal. And then after that, these are more aggressive. You would have to really get in and get out quickly if it's not working, but in this case it did. Worked out very well. Okay. So the moral of the story is anything that's moving on very large volume, yesterday's volume clocked in at 156.896 million shares, which again is literally more volume in that one day than this stock probably traded in the entire year combined. And so almost exactly that much. So good morning, Chris. Good morning, John. Good morning, Bill. All right, so moving past that, okay, there were some other stocks that were moving as well. Now this one I did mention, but I don't think a lot of you jumped on it or did anything with it, and that was MLCO. Now, it wasn't that great of a mover, so I understand if you didn't look at it that much. It did have a good day overall, but it was pretty choppy, jerky movement. Like here's one move up, there's another one. So it was only at the end of the day that it really got into a decent, consistent trend. So this one, if anyone didn't do it, makes sense. I get why you were avoiding it. Billy was a really good opportunity yesterday. This is a stock that consistently has been generating some good opportunities for us. But here's the open. First it's down, then it rebounds sharply from the low, starts to go up. And this is where a number of you spotted that rebound. A number of you spotted when it had bottomed out and came back up. Then after that point, we had a period of consolidation, and then finally it breaks out again. A lot of you spotted that too, riding it up. I did give you the most likely target to exit, which yesterday was 2206. That was the target, not to exit, but the target for the maximum movement that might occur. But it turns out in this case it didn't reach that far. Starts to sell off here. So by the time you saw this sell off, it'll be time to look for an exit. So most of you did get out, but I did hear some of you had held indefinitely and just waited to see if it would come back eventually. I don't recommend doing that, okay? Bottom line is if a stock's sharply pulling back, but you still think it can get to a higher price, just get out as it's pulling back, wait till it gets to a key price level. When it turns around, then you can get in. So a number of you did that, but not everyone did. So this one was a great opportunity that I noticed a lot of people took advantage of, but obviously there's a lot going on there, and hopefully some of you were able to take advantage of the whole thing. Now, this stock I was watching for a while at the open. Did have a really good move at the opening. Oh, well, it had a pretty sharp move at the opening of session, then a quick rebound, but it didn't do anything after that, so I stopped watching it after a while. And glad I did, because it didn't do anything for the rest of the day. Of course, I had it on the radar in the background. Other stocks that were movers, other stocks that were expected to move, BNGO, this one really didn't do much. It was an active stock pre-market, but after the opening bell, didn't do much. PDD, a lot of you were looking at PDD on the rebound, which was a good opportunity. I know some of you apparently got in on the rebound move here, but it didn't really pan out to much. So it was profitable, sure, but ultimately PDD was not able to advance. So this one was a minor opportunity for some, but not a major opportunity. LNTH, this one looked like it could be active yesterday, but turns out didn't do much. So therefore, we basically just ignored that after the opening bell. Now here's one that really was good yesterday that a lot of you took advantage of, VERU. So VERU had gapped down at first and turned around and started to go up. Notice that it's been pretty active the last couple of days. It was not able to reach the highs of the previous major run, but this rebound move was perfect. It came down, found the support, started to rebound up. A lot of you caught that on the rebound. Then after it got to the highs, basically that was it. So for those of you who did take advantage of it, great. And for those of you who missed it, this was one of the ones I did mention early, so just make sure you're keeping an eye on these symbols that I'm pointing out. Now, BIVI, this one, well, it started off the day where it did a little rebound. Sorry. It started off the day, where are you? Right here, sorry. Where it sold off at first. Started to look like it was going to rebound. It did for a bit, then that was it. Then here it had a pretty good jump that made it bullish finally. But it never really went very far. So not the best opportunity overall. This is not a stock that you can easily short sell, but since it's hard to borrow, but it did come up at the end of the day for a potential rally. All right, top ships. This one, although it's been active recently, did not present any strong opportunities yesterday. As you can see, it was basically very dead. This is the start, right where my cursor is, and it did nothing at all. So top ships, no opportunities there. Therefore, we weren't watching it closely. Now, one of you brought up GOSS, GOSS, which did turn out to be a good short selling opportunity, and is a shortable stock, easy to borrow. So therefore, this one was a short opportunity. I did mention to those who asked that this did look like it was a decent short opportunity, just to wait for a pullback, which occurred right there after the initial move. It's hard to see because it went down so far, but that right here was that pullback, and then it started to sell off. After that, it went sideways for a long time and then started to sell off again. So if you took a second attempt here, that makes sense. Then after that, it just went flat. Now overnight, by the way, it went flat because it hit a major support area, which is at 234. So right about where my cursor is. So once it got to there, it just basically flattened out and neutralized, which is what you should expect. Usually stocks going down are going to be, from my experience, they're going to be more likely to not be able to go beyond the boundaries that the market is already expecting or projecting would be a large move up or down. So basically the market has a volatility expectation for every stock at the beginning of the day, and the volatility expectations for this one to the downside, the maximum volatility was hit, maximum expected volatility, I should say, and after that point, the stock couldn't go any further. That's pretty typical. Sometimes you'll get exceptions to that, but it's not that normal. So, GOSS, hopefully those of you who brought that up, good morning, were able to take advantage of that on the short side. That was only a short selling opportunity, but it was a good one. Okay. So long and short are both fine. By the way, a lot of you asked, do I ever do anything short? I didn't spot this stock originally. Someone else brought it up, but it gapped down very sharply, which got their attention. The news was it was a failure of I think it was a drug failure. Let's see. I was trying to remember what that was, but anyway, it was due to data not coming in good for a drug trial, and that basically sunk the stock. All right, let's move on. So we're going to take a look now at what's happening this morning. All right, so this morning on my pre-market scanner, SMMT is there again, not surprising. Okay, so this is back on the radar again today. It is down substantially from where it reached the peak yesterday. It peaked out overnight at 278 a share. Okay, so after hours, when the market closed, it first dipped. Then the stock shot up very quickly to 278. This is fairly normal stuff, guys, by the way. A lot of times stocks that trade this type of volume, this type of trajectory, they do move after the close. Now, we obviously don't have any trading that we're going to do that we do in the funding program after hours. But you can basically know that that's probably what's going to happen either way. So that's what did happen. Now, after that big move after hours, the stock slumped again. It basically went flat for a while, and now it is trading slightly lower. Yesterday's close looks like was at was it 234? Yeah, so it closed at 234. And as far as it goes right now, it might have been 231 actually, but looks like the last trade here was 234. As of right now, the stock is currently trading at 209, 210. You can see some of the trades here. So what we can expect is that when the market opens, we have to expect there's going to be some significant movement on this stock. Now, I don't know if it's going to go up or down, but it is hard to borrow. So the short side of the stock is not going to be the more exploitable side. It will be the long side of the stock. So we should be looking for that. So SMMT is once again on the radar for this morning for that reason. It's always a good idea to keep an eye on stocks that have been moving substantially recently. So we'll see. Okay, so that's on the radar. Once again. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just typing this down. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so next up, let's see what else. Now, I resort this based on percentage move. MMAT is active again. This is a stock that actually looks like it had a pretty decent day yesterday as well. I wasn't watching it yesterday, but at the end of the day, you can see here, and this is the very end of the day, this had a pretty sharp move up, 170 up to over $2, and it came down. So this started to move at the end of yesterday, towards the very end of the session. So wasn't really looking at this one, but there it is. Now, MMAT, of course, is already on our watch list, our hot list, I should say. It's been on there for a long time. And this is, again, a good example of why you want to keep an eye on stocks that have been active, very active in the recent past. Recently, over the last week, it hasn't been doing much. But in previous, if we look back in time, here it is compared to the NASDAQ over here. You can see there have been a lot of days where this has been a bigger mover, and now it's back again. So MMAT presently trading at $2.41 at 242. It closed yesterday at 196, so it's up substantially, and we can see there's elevated volume as well. Let me see if there's a headline for this morning. Okay. They announced that FINRA has processed corporate action for exchange of Series A preferred. I'm not going to get into reading this headline, but apparently that's the reason why it's moving up. I'll have to look into the exact reason why that's bullish or why it's even significant, but there it is. So, in short, the stock is up right now, and this will be on our radar for this morning. So, MMAT is back. Oops. One second, I typed the wrong thing in here. MMAT. There we go. All right, now see what we got next. Sorry, the reason why the screen goes black is because I'm switching screens in the background, so sorry about that. All right, next up on the pre-market scan is ENSC, which is down sharply, and I'll tell you why. So this is a stock that's also been on our list for a long time. It closed yesterday in the $2 range. And now, actually, sorry, let me put on this screen. ENSC closed yesterday in the $2, looks 222, had a modest day yesterday, nothing really special. Currently, the stock is trading much lower, as you can see, $1.11 and $1.09, or $1.10, $1.12, sorry, $1.11 and $1.12. Why is it down so much? Well, because this morning the company announced that is pricing a $4.1 million public offering, and the price point would be $1.40 per share. So this is currently trading below that price point, which means that there is a chance this may rebound and go higher. But add additional shares, of course, dilute the pool. But I do think that it's more logical to see the stock price move back up towards $1.40. Whatever the case may be, I'll put this on the radar for today. I'm not expecting it's going to have a massive rally up. It's not a shortable stock. As far as I can see, there are no shares to borrow. If there are, they're very few. So we don't want to look at that for short selling. Just look at it on a potential long side. But I'll add that to our list as well as a stock to watch at the open for potential movement. All right, now moving on. RXDX is up pre-market. This is true. That was coming up a little later. I'll get to it in a little bit. Okay, but that's a little down the line. So going on to the next one. Looks like Billy is on the list right now. But I wouldn't look at it at the open. It is trading some significant volume, but not enough that I want to pay attention to it, although it did gap down overnight. I don't think we need to watch it at the open, so I'll leave that one alone for now. Here's another one that's active pre-market, ROIV. Says here, Edison Partners leads $21 million funding round for clinical trial intelligence disruptor Lacovat. I guess how you pronounce it. So I'm just going down the list here in order of when I see them. Sorry, ROIV is the symbol, not LOIV. And currently the stock is trading at about $7. Okay, well, the last trade was at $6.95. The high pre-market here was at $8. Not the highest volume of activity, but this is not a stock that I believe was already on our list, so I'm adding it now. ROIV. Now it's on our hot list, and we'll see what happens. About 600,000 shares here, nothing too crazy. Right. Sorry, 1 second here. Okay. All right, next up, let's see, next up is, okay, this stock is not expensive enough, so I won't put this down as a stock to watch at the open, but I will add it to our watch list just because it's very active right now. I'll add it to here. It's not not a stock I'm going to recommend trading, but I will keep it around to keep track of it because as the volume's increasing, the stock will eventually get to the price range that I want. So this stock RNAZ is the symbol. This one is up. Looks like something happened with withdrawal of registration statement for Form S1 filed on November 28th. I'm not sure what the significance of that is, but the stock is trading currently at 72 cents a share, which is a large percentage gain for this particular stock. I will add it to the overall list, but it's not ready yet for us to do anything with. But at the trajectory it's at now, it could get to a point where it would be something we could look at trading. But for now, I would not do it for the moment. So also, we don't do stocks under $1 here, so just a heads up. Okay. Next up, let's see that one. Don't know why that came up on my list. Okay, so next is RXDX. Let's get to that one. So RXDX is currently trading at about $98 per share, and yesterday was at $37.14 per share. It says here Prometheus Bioscience shares are trading higher after the company announced results for PRA023 in both Artemis UC Phase 2 and Apollo CD Phase 2A studies. Obviously, they met their primary endpoint. So that's what happened there. Now, as far as the stock goes, question was asked, should we look for a good short? Well, according to the numbers here, there are no shares to borrow, so it wouldn't be a shortable stock. If that's the case, you have to find shares to short, and if they're not available, then you can't short it. Now, of course, that may change intraday, I don't know, but as of right now, from the statistics I'm looking at, it says it's not shortable. So, I don't know if that's already on our list, but I will add it just in case, RXDX. Now, it's only trading 2 million shares, which for this degree of movement is not that much, I would expect, but it's still good volume. So I do think it's worth looking at, but you probably, different sources, there's more than one place I look for that. But it's not on True Edge, if that's what you're asking. There's no information about that here, but there are different places I can go to, excuse me, sorry for scratching my nose, but the different places I can go to actually locate this activity. So you could go to your brokerage platform like E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, websites, different places. So that's all. No one place that I'm looking for this info. So according to what I can tell, it looks like it's mostly none to borrow, but there always will be some place you can locate shares. It just means that most likely you won't be able to get them. I'll add this to our radar either way because obviously it's up a lot and the volume is decent. But as far as what you can do with it, we'll see. So now in the challenge, you may, I don't think it's going to answer that question yesterday. So yes, you can. As long as it's a NASDAQ listed entity, which that is, you can trade it. So in the challenge, the software it probably won't block you from short selling this stock, just so that you know. So if you actually do it, it probably will work. So if it blocks you from shorting it, then you know why. But most likely, I don't think it's going to block you, since in the challenge it is just a challenge. It's a simulated environment. But once you go live, as I've mentioned multiple times to everyone, your you're going to have to do whatever the market allows you to do, right? Which will be sometimes limited. Goss is also moving sharply lower pre-market. I'll put that on the radar again for today, since that was a good addition yesterday. So GOSS is on the radar for today as well. GOSS. Okay. All right. Lastly, I'm going to look at ESPR. That's moving with significant volume. Currently trading at about 830. That's right. 813 at 829. Pretty wide bid-ask spread there. But this one, ESPR, is moving sharply, and the overnight has large volume, so this will be on our radar as well. ESPR. I think, yeah, it's already on our radar because I just found it there. So that one's already on our watch list. So ESPR is on the radar for today. All right. So that one is added as well. Okay. All right, folks, I got to run to the coaching room here. Let me just take a quick browse and see if there's anything else that looks particularly important right now. Nope. Okay, I think we found everything that we need to find. All right, for those of you who are not, oh, actually EQRX is moving too. Let me just check this one out before I go. It's flat. It's not up or down, but the volume is up. So since it's not moving, I'm not going to add it to the list of things to watch, but it is trading significant volume for whatever reason. So something may be up with EQRX, I don't know. All right, so that's all we got for right now, folks. I'm going to jump into the coaching room, and for those of you who are not members of the coaching room, this is where I'm going to go over detail of what exactly we should be looking to do with these stocks. We'll go over targets, stop losses, things like that, and of course, in real time, I'll be looking at the markets as they move and identifying opportunities. So make sure you're not a member in that, you join. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the coaching room in just a moment. YouTube, have a great day, trade well, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time. All right? Take care.